Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Vintage Story. Let's switch back to first person, get our GUI, our HUD back, there we go. And this episode I did something I haven't been doing, and I put together a to-do list because we have goals and we have an agenda. That includes clearing our inventory for one. But that includes charcoal, getting ingot and anvil molds. We will finish our barrier fence here. That is a goal. And also, I want to mine out the copper that is present at these 4 sites. So that is our set of goals for today. But as previously mentioned, we're going to need to clear out our inventory a little bit, if we even have the room to meaningfully do it. Oh, I have the gold nuggets somewhere, and as you can see, our chests have devolved into something that's not really manageable. I can get rid of this, and the claystone stones I have to have somewhere as well. One of the reasons why I'm not cutting this out, and I am intentionally showing this off, is inventory management is a really important part of early game vintage story, as a commenter actually said, and as such I want to do it justice by showing off the struggle of early game management. If you're following along with Kurazar's Season 2 of his guide series, you'll see that he's dealing with this problem by getting copious amounts of storage, and even still he's running out, until of course he was able to put chests together. We, however, have been a little lazy on that end. I've been lazy because I haven't really wanted to gather more and more reed baskets, and while we do have more storage underway down here, it is underway, so it's not quite ready yet. A couple things we do have ready, however, are our hammer mold and our pickaxe mold, which I do want to grab and put up here. I think for now I will just put it here. I'll put it here, and I will put it here. Our crucible is still firing, so there's not really much we can do about that. And for this stuff here, we can use our remaining sticks to craft some more spears. So let's go do that, and I'll just put these spears up against the wall here. Looks like I've got a couple spots already, and we'll put this last spear over here. I'm going to plant these birch trees off into the distance here, and you can see it's actually pretty bright out. We are approaching summer. Well, we're in summer for all intents and purposes, but as we get later into the season, nighttime gets honestly ridiculously short in this game. I want to grab this rye at some point. Okay, why don't we take a look at, we have plenty of grass. I am going to need some clay, and I'm also going to need some sticks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather, I want to say I'm going to go shoot for gathering about a stack of sticks. That's going to take us quite a while, and I actually have some clay. So I'm going to gather some sticks, and I will see you guys when we're done. Okay, perfect. So we have all of that. I'm just going to keep replanting these trees as they come up, and we'll chop them down later. It's not really a huge deal. But by the time we get around to chopping them, we will, they'll have already grown. Some trees I do want to plant a bit more methodically. is I do want to get my oak trees up probably over here for now. That's fine. Oak is my favorite tree, and I'm really excited that we got some saplings for it. We have some oak trees in the woods here, but I did want my own dedicated oak tree farm, because I'm going to use it probably for the roof and the floors and so on and so forth. I am actually going to need to do a bit of chopping here as well. So I'm going to grab maybe 2 stacks of maple logs. Start with this here. I do also want to just take a moment and say, you know, starting last episode, I introduced a bit of a radically different style of editing, which has been based off the feedback of 4 or 5 episodes worth of content where people have been providing, honestly, great feedback and great opinions. Please let me know what you think about the editing in last episode, this episode, and just because of how I personally have to develop a workflow and a process to keep these videos coming out on a semi-regular basis. You'll likely see the same editing style all the way into episode 14, but going forward, I'll continue to make adjustments based off of your feedback. So we have, this is probably going to bring us to, well, that'll bring us to nearly 2 stacks. So I suppose that'll be enough for now. Yeah, okay. And I need that because I want to get the fences up here for this little, what do I want to call it? Not barrier, barricade, but our little wall to help keep the drifters out. And I also want to reset this torch before I forget about it. You can hear our stuff is still going on. And let's grab our, what did I do with the, there we go, our extra hay bales. I've got some blue clay here. Wow, am I really that low on blue clay? I know I've got some here. Okay. I honestly didn't think I'd have to go grab some blue clay, but obviously I'm wrong on that. Looks like our blue clay deposit is over here. It's been a little while since we've had to go grab some. One objective I have for later in the series, and I do want to emphasize, actually I don't think we've grabbed any clay from this deposit. I do want to emphasize later in the series, because it's not something we're going to be doing anytime soon, but something that we should be keeping in mind is I do want to build a museum. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments of some things that we should be adding to the museum. I'm going to let you know what I'm planning on at least. I'd like to include one of each crop. I would like to include as many of the butterflies as I can. I'd like to try to include one of at least the bountiful chunks of every ore, and that's a tall order. And as a stretch goal, I would like to look at maybe one of each of the kinds of different chunks for each of the ores, but I think just going for the bountiful is probably going to be more realistic. I'd like to create one of every set of armor, and I'd like to collect the abandoned or relic weapons that they have added into the game. I think that would be a fun objective for us. So those are some of the late game objectives I am looking to set and establish. And I am looking to have this be a long-term world. As time goes on, we may do different things in different series, and this world may go on hiatus, but I do intend on this being a very, very lengthy world, and I hope that excites you as much as it excites me. We're going to have a library, we're going to have a museum, we're going to have so many things, but right now we just have our dirt hut with a little mud wall that we're building around it. So let's start building this, and there we go. I'll just do that with that. And we'll turn all this into mud brick. Let's see if 12 is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it looks like that was actually the perfect amount we needed to make, at least for right now. And do I need mud brick? I do want to make some mud brick slabs. Okay, just needed to remind myself of the recipe there for a minute. What did I do? Oh, it requires low fertility soil. like actually just straight low fertility soil. So let me go, there's plenty of low fertility soil over here in these hills. So let me head this way and go grab some. Although I could grab some from just under our medium fertility. Also, have I checked this hole out? Not to have a squirrel moment, but could be something cool down there. Alright, perfect. So the soil is low fertility here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what I'm going to go for. And I actually can count how much I need. I know off the top of my head, and I believe, okay. So I need 1, 2, I just need 8 of these. And I'm going to be using these for the gates. I'll show you how I plan on using them here in a second. I'm not going to top off the corners here, because there is a chance that I will place oil lamps there. Ooh, but it does look good. Nope, 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 no. I better get you back. Okay, I was going to say, otherwise I'll be very distraught. Okay, perfect. And you go here. And you go here. And got this going here. This going here. And this going here. Did I do that right? Nope. I did not mean to do that. I better get you back. I did not get it back. Okay, well, that was on me. So let's put this here. We'll have some extra dark mud bricks, which is not ideal as we're low on inventory storage space as is, but it'll have to be what it is. And then, this is how we're going to do our gates for now. Where we don't have a chisel, I think that'll be perfectly fine. Why don't we make... Oh, I need 6 more. So let's do 1, 2. That should be plenty. Now I go boom, boom. We'll go boom, boom. And then we'll go boom, boom. I am intending on putting a path through here. But it's going to be quite a while before we're able to realistically get that path up. Why don't we take a look at getting some of these fences up? We're going to need at least a stack, and I've only got 3 durability, so that's not going to do. But I have another axe over here, so let's go look at that. Okay, you go here, we'll go, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 24, not quite enough. That's a 64, and I'll start with a full stack of 64. This way we can still see over just fine, and it adds just that added layer of protection. I actually wonder if we're able to place an oil lamp on a slab. Part of me feels like we should be able to, but it's just one of those things I don't quite know. Maybe I didn't need a stack after all. I may have, but this is going pretty well. Ooh, or maybe I needed exactly a stack. No, stack was definitely too much. Oh well, we tried. We'll add our extra fences to our extra maple fence collection. So this is it. This is our barrier complete. So this is what our homestead is looking like so far. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these corners as a basis. I'm going to add farms to the corner, each of our corners. And we'll do some dark mud brick surrounding the farms. We'll fence them in. I think it's going to look really, really nice. So I'm really excited to build it. And the music is a little overpowering on my end, but I can hear that our kilns are still going. Why don't we get just a little bit of this going on, because I'm going to need some ingot molds. Okay, and so we have our anvil mold, and we also have our ingot molds. So I'm going to make 8 ingot molds, and I'm going to need just the one anvil. Perfect. And I'll put our extra grass in with the rest here. And one thing that will speed this up is if we were to use peat. I'm just going to turn this down here. A little excited for my taste. And we actually have some peat right here in the woods behind us, so we should definitely go scavenging for some of that. And I believe it takes about 24 hours if you use firewood in a pit kiln, but it is 16 hours if you use peat. So I may be wrong, don't quote me on that, those are just the numbers I have off the top of my head. But what I do know is that peat is significantly faster. And peat, if you're unaware, is basically dirt that is very, very compressed, has a lot of bacteria, has a lot of other goodness that helps it burn hot. And I don't know if it burns faster than firewood. We can check. Yeah, that's still burning. And that song's over, so let me get the music back up to 5%. Otherwise, I'll forget to. At 24 seconds versus 25 seconds, so it's burns about the same as firewood, but if I pick up firewood burns to 700, peat bean burns to 900, so it does burn hotter, hence why things go faster. So let's see what we can do in the meantime. Oh, how could I forget? How could I forget? We are in desperate need of charcoal. And in order to get charcoal, we're going to have to chop down a tree and burn quite a few logs. So let's break this walnut tree down. And I'm not going to make a ton of charcoal because honestly, we're not going to need a ton of it until we hit iron. But I do want to make sure that I build out a dedicated charcoal spot wherever we build a forge or a smithy area. And we do have quite a few little building projects like that lined up for us, a forge, a smithy, etc. And 2 stacks? Pretty darn close. So that'll be fine. Okay. If I convert these walnut logs, I get 2 stacks of firewood. If I convert this many walnut logs, I almost get 2 stacks of firewood, and my axe broke. So I've got a stack and a half here. I need half a stack more. Why don't I... Oh, no, don't have enough there. And don't have another axe lying around. Well, isn't that unfortunate? Where did I do? That's what I did with flint. Why don't we nap out an axe here real quick? Okay, and I will put you here. And I will put you here. Perfect. Okay. So, we'll break these maple logs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16. And, okay, let's dig a little charcoal pit. And I think I'm just going to put a pit right here. I'm just going to dig right into the ground here. And I'm going to, just like this. And dig a pit. So, now a charcoal pit, I honestly, off the top of my head, don't know what the size specifications are, but I know that the size I'm going for will work, as I've done it before. You need to fully enclose a space with firewood and light it on fire with a campfire or a fire pit. And I'll show you in a second, but when we light the pit, it will say, hey, this is a charcoal pit, and you need to block it off from the open air in X amount of time. Otherwise, you're going to burn and lose all your wood. So it will give us that prompt, and that's how we know that we have a functioning fire pit. Charcoal pit. And I'm just going to leave this here so that I have an easy and accessible way down. And I'm going to need a single grass, but I'm also going to need 4 of that. And I believe our kilns downstairs are done as well, which is great. So let's go grab this and that and the torch. Oh, torch, where are you? Yes, I'm down to only one now. That's unfortunate. Anyway, so if I break this block here, let's say, you'll see it's got the wood under it. And I am going to need to block it off, so I'm just going to put a block here preemptively, and we'll go... Okay. And you'll see it says charcoal pit unlit now, and that's how I know that we have a functioning charcoal pit. And so I will cover this up, and you'll see that I have smoke particles coming from where the pit is. And so this is how we know it's working, and this is our indicator of when it is done. I have my sticks, I have my grass. I'm going to get stack of this. 56 is plenty. Okay. So let's grab our storage vessels first and foremost, and that way we can just dump our inventory. And that, in and of itself, will do wonders for us. Do I have any space in here for storage vessels? Not really, if I'm being honest. Let's put this here. And here. I'll put you here. I want you facing head on. And now we'll grab the other storage vessel. Here. And perfect. Okay, so let's just do a dump of the inventory. Okay, that's going to make things a heck of a lot better. So let's go in here. I'll grab our molds. And I don't believe we found any brown coal in this world. Let me just do a quick look. Found olivine there. Up here even. Ooh, there's copper up here. I forgot about this copper. We'll have to go get that at some point. But yeah, no brown coal. If we found brown coal, we could do our smelting right now, but because I, entirely honest with you, forgot to make the charcoal pit, we have to wait for the charcoal pit to be done now. Just block that off, that's fine. And that's going to take about a day. So, in the meantime, we need to get this stuff firing, and then I think we can take a look at maybe outlining how we're going to do those farm plots. Because that is going to be one of our next objectives. Look at you here. Get this going here. Perfect. And now, I want you back. There we go. And we have plenty of sticks, which I'm really, really happy about. As you have probably figured out by now, sticks are really, really not the easiest things in the world. I just gotta grab that peat. I dumped it in here. They're not the easiest thing in the world to come by, but we are able to get shears once we have copper and an anvil and all that. And shears will make our lives a heck of a lot easier. And you only need the 4. That's interesting. Now let's get all these lit up. Alright, with these lit, let's go take a look at the farm plots. So I'd like here to be the hole for one of the plots. And so I'm going to need a double gap, which means I can add another hole here. And I can do a double gap, which means I add another hole here. And my fencing is going to look like this. And this will probably be our farm fields for this season. We're going to do something different going forward, but this is how we're probably going to get through our first year with our farms and our house and all that. When we look at doing house upgrades, we're going to have to tear a lot of this down, but that's okay with me. So I, real quick, am just going to get this all squared away. Oh my, what are the chances? More Terra Preta. More Terra Preta. It's right here. Our house is literally sitting on top of Terra Preta. Wow, we are beyond lucky with getting our Terra Preta. I don't think I've ever had so much easily accessible Terra Preta before. That's just absolutely insane that we were just casually digging up and we got our hands on more Terra Preta. Our farms, once we get them set up and we get this copper all squared away, our farms are going to be in excellent condition. Get the shovel head here, and apparently I have a field of Terra Preta I need to dig up. So why don't we work on that, and as we finish this little field of Terra Preta, as it does look to be not little at all, potentially. As we wrap up this Terra Preta, I'm going to put this ground back, and then I'm going to finish outlining our farms so that we can work on the construction of those, as I am unfortunately stalled on copper progress until I am able to... Wow, this is unnecessarily large amount of Terra Preta so far. Looks like that is most of it, which is good. Well, not good, but it feels illegal to have this much Terra Preta, so it feels good in that sense. Anyways, I'm going to continue working on this, and I will see you on the other side. Alright, I even went ahead here and I set the fields up with Terra Preta because we do have enough of it where we're actually able to make all of our fields with Terra Preta, which is pretty ridiculous if you ask me. Next steps, what we need to do on the farm, because I am waiting for this charcoal pit, is I think, well, first of all, I think we're going to complete these farms today. Or at least we'll get pretty close. And I think what we need to do is I've got to tear these walls down, and then I need to dig out the perimeter and get my mud brick. I'm going to go for about 1.5 stacks of dark mud brick, and I had a reasonable amount of wood, but I'll probably need to chop down some more maple trees. So I'm going to work on this construction project. I'm probably going to montage the bulk of the project. So I will see you guys on the other end of this. Okay, so I just heard the howling of a wolf. I don't know where from, but it sounds like maybe those woods, which means we're probably not as safe over here as I thought we were, and that is unfortunate. So we're gonna have to go wolf hunting in those woods pretty soon. I don't know if it's a new wolf or if it's an old wolf, but I haven't heard a wolf before over here, so that's something at least. And the timing on it's unfortunate, because I'm at the point where I need to go look for sticks again. But let's fence this off to the best of our ability. First, there we go. And I am going to put gates here, so so I will take this out, and that'll be the only gate I have for this area here. So let's go gather some sticks. And while we're gathering sticks, I do want to say this episode may be a tad on the longer side. Reason being that we are going to do copper stuff. I am adamant. I want to do stuff with copper. But in order to do that, we need this charcoal pit to be done. And that is probably going to take us into at least the early to middle of the next day. And then we're going to need our stuff to get cast and get smelt, and the point is it's going to take time for us to go and collect the copper. But I do have... Whoa! Did you see the sky just flip to black? I think that's a bug with the like blue lighting mod. I've noticed it makes things very, very bright, and I've actually considered turning it off as a result. So I may do that for the next episode, because I do think, I don't like the red hue that's in the game, but I do think that that mod makes nighttime maybe a smidge too bright. So let's put this here. I'm going to have a gate here as well, so that the path naturally flows into the farms is the idea. I'm going to hold off on this back one until it's brighter out and we can see. So we'll get this placed over here. And we are looking great over here, dare I say it. Perfect. And now, if anything, what we need is more maple trees. But I don't want to grab that till it's daytime. And so for that reason, I think I'm actually going to sleep. This is one of the first, it may be the first time we've actually slept in the series. I don't like to sleep that often, but here we go. We'll just wake up now because it is a little brighter out. And we'll check the charcoal pit to see that it's still firing. And I may as well carry the torch on me so that we have a little more light while we're still waiting for dawn proper to come. And I want to just grab some maple wood. I just don't know where that wolf is. And I wish I did. Because I also don't have easily... I feel like it's got to be over there. I just don't have any low-hanging maple trees anymore. Hence why I didn't mind replanting some over this way. Unless you're a maple tree. Oh, see, that's oak. I think this is a maple tree. Yeah. I'm not thrilled about not knowing where the wolves are. But at the very least, I can chop down this maple tree. I think that's fine. Come on. It's thinking about it. There's pigs. I thought that was the wolf. Scared the absolute out of me. Alright. Now, let's get this going. And I need one to... Honestly, I'll take the full half stack. Let's get this going. So... I was like, where do I put it? But that's one of the reasons I put the mud brick down. Okay, and I'll need a bit more, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and probably just one more thing of fences should be plenty for us. Perfect. And I am going to need to make those gates as well. So we are unfortunately going to need even more sticks. Raccoon causing a little bit of trouble. That's fine. How are we looking over here, Mr. Charcoal Pit? Mr. Charcoal Pit says that we are taking our sweet time, which is what a charcoal pit does. So unfortunately, we've been a little disorganized in the gathering of the copper stuff. We are a couple episodes into it, and while, again, I am determined that we will do it today, we've been able to complete an entire side project as well. So going forward, one of the back-end changes I'm making is I am making to-do lists for each episode so that I am aware kind of what I'd like to do. I like the way that organically things are flowing, but it does cause massive interruptions, I suppose, in projects if I forget multiple steps of the project and the process and so on. So somebody made a comment. I remember reading a comment about how they like the organic flow of things because it feels like somebody isn't checking things off a checklist. And I want this series to have kind of a balance where things like today, where we have a list of things we're working on, we have a set of objectives, but simultaneously we're kind of going with the flow, and things are a little bit chaotic just as we're figuring them out. We're running into errors, we're running into mistakes, and everything's not perfect is the idea. I'm not perfect, the series isn't perfect, we're not going to pretend to be perfect. I think a lot of times when you watch a Let's Play, it is they've maxed everything out in the first episode and everything else is kind of like creative and a free-for-all. And well, that's not true in Vintage Story, it is true in the other block game, you know, good old Minecraft. In a lot of the Let's Plays now, it's very hard to be competitive in those Let's Plays just because of how intense they are and how much work goes into them nowadays. So I'm going to need to do this for each of them. That's unfortunate. It leaves me just one. Oh, I'm not even going to have enough maple logs. Okay. So I guess we're going to have to venture in just a smidge deeper. Grab some more logs, and I'm going to want to grab some more sticks while I'm at it. I want at least one more stick, but I should probably grab just a smidge more, maybe bring us up to 16, I think would be appropriate. I am kind of holding out to see if we'll be able to get shears in a reasonable amount of time, so that we can really start collecting sticks. And I'll go like this again. Nope, that's not enough logs. See, that's what I mean. It's like I grab 2 logs when I need 4, and it's like, oh, whoops. And not editing things like that out. Come on. Easy does it. Perfect. I should have chopped down that tree from the beginning. And something happened. I feel like my frames have decreased dramatically. I wonder what that's all about. Let me look at the settings. The settings show that we're holding steady. I assume that's hanging out around 30. I don't quite know how to read that graph just off the top of my head. Here are our kilns still running in the background, so we can't grab our molds, but that's fine. I am debating next episode getting these fields up and running and actually doing, what's the word for it? Why do I have, I must have forgot a gate on one of these. Okay, and I bet it's this gate here. Yep, perfect. And using a watering can and watering our crops so that we're not beholden to the late Iron Age, but it may be moved if we're able to get this squared away. Why don't we clear up our inventory a little bit? We'll just dump things into this chest. Oh, I was wondering what that was, but it's just a spear. Okay. And I'll grab you. If I have a knife, I'll grab a knife. I do have a knife, that's good. Just get my tools all in order. And we'll grab the shovel, bring you down here, grab a crock of food, and that's something that's definitely got to be on our agenda here, is we are going to need some food. We are running low again, and I think that actually is a great thing that we can do this episode, is we can go and collect, oh wow, these all just finished. Okay then. Let's put you back there since you're empty now. And how's this looking over here? I'm still burning over in the charcoal pit. So what I'm gonna do is grab all these molds. Okay. And just with an empty hand is fine. Perfect. And we're just going to dump them in a chest for now. And then I'm going to take this clay, and I, very quickly, am going to form... You know what? I don't need to form the watering can. I thought about it. I did seriously think about it, but we're just not going to form it. Instead, what I think we can do is we can actually patch up our temporary pit kiln area and be done with it. And we'll work on building, that'll be a build for a future episode, as we'll work on building a more formal area for firing our pit kilns. Take a look at the map here. I honestly can't believe that we were able to get these farms all squared away so early on. I thought it was going to be a bit of a different process, or lengthier process, hence why I did it while we were waiting for that, but no matter. One thing we are going to need is a forge, so I suppose we can gather the supplies for that. And I am curious if maybe there's a basement to this ruin. It does look like the kind of ruin that would have one, but unfortunately it does not look like it does. That's okay. So in order to build a, what is it called? Oh, I just said the name of it, but in order to build the thing that we're building, a forge. I think it is called the forge. I need, I believe, 7 of these. Ooh, wow, we had a hidden forge vessel. Wow, some sticks, which I actually really appreciate. I think it's this. Yeah, okay, and that creates the forge. So that's just one more thing we need. Oh. Is it time? Dare I say, our charcoal is ready. Okay, so let's grab all of this, and now we can start smelting. Come on. And so, like I said, we're not going to need a ton of charcoal. This really, of course, that ran out. So since our shovel ran out, this is going to be a bit of a tedious process, so I am going to just skip through it, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so we are done with that. Anyway, like I was saying, we don't need a ton of charcoal. This 26 charcoal should last us well into the late copper age. I do want to start the fire with peat. Peat goes up to 900, and copper does have a higher melting point than that, but peat will allow us to preheat this fire, and it'll allow us to preheat this fire and save on just a little bit of charcoal. So with copper, copper and all metal units are in, or all metals are found in nuggets. You can break most things down into nuggets to get them, but anyway, each nugget is 5 units worth, and you need 100 units to form an item, to cast something, etc. So that means 20 pieces is equal to 1 ingot or 1 item, hence why we needed the 40. And it doesn't matter how you have these stacked, but I'm just going to stack them this way. And now we can start the fire. Perfect. I'll get that placed back up there. I have our molds ready, and oh my, I forgot. I don't need this paused. I need a, oh, what is it called? What is it called? I forgot the thing. Smithing, ingots, no. Tongs, we need tongs, that's a new thing, and to do that we need rope, which I need cattails 4 or vines. And I'm going to place 3 charcoal in here. That should be plenty. And I have cattails, but I'm... okay, phew. I didn't think I would have enough, honestly, for tongs. And I don't remember how the recipe went, but I think it's just this. There we go. And we need tongs in order to hold the scorching hot metal, which makes sense, honestly. Just another little thing that I forgot to do. And so this copper needs to heat up to a temperature of 1084, and our fire pit will get up to 1300 degrees Celsius, but it won't start actually smelting until it hits 1084. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut until our tools have been cast, as I don't have anything really going on until this is all done. So I will see you all in a few seconds. Okay, and so I did take a charcoal away. I didn't need all the charcoal, so I did grab one back, and you can see that we now have our crucible with 200 units worth of copper, and we're going to turn that into a pickaxe, and we're going to turn that into a hammer. And so now this is going to take just a little bit of time to cool off, but it shouldn't be that bad. So let's outline our journey while we're waiting for that. I'm going to be going to this copper, and this copper, and we're also going to be making our way out here and out here. And I'm thinking I may start backwards, just so we make sure we hit the far rung areas first. And I think for the sake of time in this episode, we're not going to be able to hit all 4 of these. I think what we're going to do is we're going to journey up this way. We're going to grab these, grab the crops. We're going to journey down. Well, we'll probably call the episode up here, and we'll begin next episode journeying down, grabbing these last 2, and then probably casting our anvil and doing some more smithing. I really would like to get our hands on some chests, some shears, most definitely a saw, and of course a prospecting pickaxe. I want to get path blocks, and I want to build our pathways in and out of our base. And in order to do that, we are going to be needing to do, we're going to need to be doing quite a bit of mining. So I'm really excited about that. I think one thing we can do is we can grab this last crock of food, and there are a few meals in here, but it is unfortunately our last crock, which means once we complete this trip, we are desperately, and I mean desperately, going to need to cook up some meals, which means we're going to need to go hunting. Luckily, we'll have our turnips with us, which is one of the reasons I'm holding out, and so that will be good, having our turnips with us. So your copper molds are not usable until you get them to around 200 degrees Celsius. 200 degrees is when you're able to hold things, it's when it's hardened enough, and you're able to use it. Right now it's not molten, but it is soft, as you can see up above. Let's scope out where we can go hunting, and just get a general idea of kind of where some of the animals are. Or you know what? Let's go look for that wolf. And I don't want to, well, we could go wolf hunting. That's honestly probably not the worst idea we've had. He says moments before the wolf takes care of him. So let's go look for the wolf. And this should be plenty. I think we need to be looking out this way. So this is where I shall head towards the rift. Okay. I don't anticipate we'll need to look very far. that it there? I can't tell. Nope, that's just a tree. If I was willing to just run around willy-nilly, I'm sure we'd have found it by now. But I'm not. That's not how I roll. Oh, I got a dead animal over here. Okay. So we're coming up on its trail. Why don't I head up a few blocks? Just see if I can see it at all. Doesn't look like I can. Lambs over there. Got another dead hare. If the wolf is by here, it's reasonably far enough from our base for now. If it is out this way. But that could have been done by a fox as well. Yeah, I see a fox right there. So that's our more likely culprit. I wonder, you're not a meteor. Ooh, you are a meteor. That was a good call. Meteoric iron. I will mark that off. Man, our base is loaded with goodies. Okay, so that copper should be pretty close to done by now, if not done. Let's go put our spears away, and I will see you once we have our copper. Okay, perfect. So it's around 250C. I think this is workable, so we are going to start with that. Yeah, that is workable. So here we are, we have our copper pickaxe. And you know what? I think I'm going to reverse the order I talked... Well, yeah, I think we're going to reverse the order I talked about earlier, and I am going to head straight for this copper deposit first. You can see I marked it off there. And it shouldn't be that far down, but it could be a little ways away. I do want to clear that out at some point. That's a goal of mine. Oh, I put the pickaxe away, not the hammer. Whoops, let's go get that. Alright, I will see you guys when we're back at the copper with the pickaxe and not the hammer. Okay, so, totally unexpected. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but I hear bees. Oh my. Bees are so hard to find, and we just happen to find them right here. Right here. A wild beehive in the middle of the field. Are you kidding me? Wow, okay. Well, the apiary is going to be a project coming up soon, huh? I thought I was going to have to dedicate a whole episode to that. I'd been stressing out over the idea that I would need to turn the game volume off because for you, because I'd have to turn it all the way up for me, and it was going to be this whole big thing, and yada yada yada. But no, we just found bees while running around from one copper spot to another. That's insane. That's literally insane. I think finding bees is one of the hardest parts of this game. Certainly one of the most annoying parts if you get unlucky. And we just found them in the middle of a field. in the middle of a field. That is nuts. Okay, well, I'm going to mine this copper deposit, and then I think we will say our goodbyes. So without further ado, let's make our way down into the mines. As promised, I do think this is going to wrap up our episode for today. We got a lot done today. We finally started doing things with copper. Whoa, what an angle. Let me just get out of here. This is awkward. We finally started doing things with copper. We were able to get our first pickaxe. We got quite a good start so far, some medium and some poor chunks of copper, on expanding our copper collection. And most importantly, we found bees. But we were also able to build Terra Preta farms. Next episode, we are going to continue our journey out this way, collect our old crops, and make our way back down here, where I am going to try to cast an anvil and work on getting a bucket to complete our farms. Simultaneously, because that is something that will take time, we're going to do a little bit of hunting, do some cooking, and just all in all, secure our footing. So, without further ado, this has been another episode of Vintage Story. I've been Finko11, and I greatly hope that you've enjoyed watching this episode. Don't forget to, whoa, scratch everything I just said. We've got a temporal storm coming next episode, so I will see you next time as we weather out our first temporal storm.